I think to some extent, one of the benefits of the pandemic is that people understand now the importance of having a robust and agile supply chain. So this is the time to try and move it, right? You want to, I don't know, hit the iron while it's hot.
The federal government's task force on building a better supply chain has reported back, and the recommendations are big. Hiring thousands more truckers, allowing border clearances to be done inland, and building a supply chain office to unify a system that has lacked cohesion and is at times competing against itself.
Our current model, which is having ports operate independently and competitively with one another, is not actually in the best interests of our country.
The report says Canada needs a cohesive long-term strategy that includes building more land infrastructure, expediting border clearances so congested ports can be open for new ships, and more hiring to help border inspections and actual transport.
50% of our trade depend also on trucking transport. We are also missing about the equivalent of 25,500 drivers right now.
Do we think that autonomous trucks, self-driving trucks, are going to be really taking care of much of our internal logistics in the continent? And maybe we don't need to plan for having enough drivers in the future, but when is this point?
The report notes one problem is that trucking isn't recognized as a skilled occupation. This means potential drivers don't qualify for training grants or loans and must pay up to $10,000 in training fees out of pocket.
I need to look into further what mechanisms we can utilize, how to deploy it, which department would belong to, what authorities they need to have. So we need to do more work on the implementation, but I think it's a good idea that I certainly will be looking further into.
Transport Minister Omar Al-Gabra concedes many of the recommendations step on the toes of other departments and ministries. He says a national supply chain strategy will be coming soon, but his first job will be bringing the many parties involved to the table.
I see my role is to bring all those together and work with them on figuring out how we can implement these recommendations.
In Ottawa, Xiaoli Li, City News.